Caminar. Guerrilla. I imagined how I would look with bullets for a belt. I wondered if Miguel would take them away when he found out I did nothing to stop the army from taking Chopin. I pictured myself arriving at the camp in Ixande, pictured myself shooting soldiers, taking revenge for all of Chopin. I remembered Mama urging me to stay away, Santiago saying this was not our war. I realized I had nowhere else to go. In the sky. Paco was telling me about this girl in his village, Dominga, describing her with words like flowers, with his hand upon his heart, talking loud enough for everyone, everything in the trees to hear, too loud to have fear or shame. When we heard the helicopters, we ducked. Miguel did not need to tell me to find a bush, make myself lower than the leaves, tuck my face into my knees and be still. We all took cover, waited still quiet until the sound of spinning blades faded. My sweater. Miguel's arm pulled me out from branches thick with thorns. He tugged on the sweater around my waist. Monito, your sweater is too handsome for these woods. Let me tuck it safe inside my pack until the night. I moved my fingers to untie the knot of sleeves, noticed my hands were shaking. Miguel must have seen this too, but he said only, "You will need fatigues, clothes green as trees, if you stay with us." I handed him my sweater, slowed down my breath. Rebel attire. Your clothes, I said. They are the same as the army's. Not quite, he said. We have rubber boots, not leather, and our guns are not as fast. But Carlos, I saw a twinkle in his eye. You can always tell the difference between the army and the rebels. He moved his hands up to his hair, weaved his fingers into curls. We rebels have more hair, he said, and winked, and so we have more women. Anna cleared her throat behind me, so I would turn to see her roll her eyes. Stop for lunch. Miguel decided we should just rest there for a bit. My stomach felt sharp pricks of too much empty space, but Miguel's pack had no more cans. The tortilla sack was bare. We will get some food at the village up ahead, he said. So we chewed on leaves, ate some roots, busied our mouths to fool our stomachs. Only Paco complained. I am starving, mucha. My pants are way too loose. This has to be the longest I have gone without meat to chew. Hector grunted. Miguel just laughed. Paco, be glad you are too young to have traveled with a crew up the shore to work the land. Las fincas. Paco shook his head. You can't fool me, Miguel. Raul told me the rich farmer feeds his crews, hires women to cook up what the workers like. Hector grunted again. Miguel laughed even more, his shoulders moving up and down, up and down. Si, amigo, this is true. If what you like is frijoles, only beans to eat. Every day. No meat, no fish, no tortillas to pack a belly tight. Paco said nothing, just frowned. Then Miguel pointed his finger to me. That is why we fight, Carlos, against the rich man whose fathers' fathers took our land, who gives us just a handful of beans, centavos, for cutting sugarcane or picking cotton from the earth, the cotton that is the grandchild of our grandfather's seeds. One day, amigo, we campesinos will defeat the men who hold us down, take back our Guatemala. I nodded like I understood, but I was confused, thinking of the richest man I know, Juan Shaktuk, remembering how the army had hated him too. Music. Miguel took out a flauta, small, smooth, the color of bone. He blew warm air into one end. It came out from the other end, light, cool, like a whistle, sounded like flat rocks skipping on top of a lake, leaving little ripples behind. He did not play a song, just made his fingers dance over the top of each hole, fingers flapping up and down like the wings of a bird. It made the jungle air feel lighter, softer, thinner. I took a breath and felt my chest grow. Miguel saw my smile, asked, "Do you make music, Carlos?" I shook my head from side to side, but found myself making music in my mind, the light, hollow sound of the marimba. Roberto's father. Roberto's father played the marimba. He'd tuck his mallets under his arm, and we would help him carry it, big empty box of wood, nothing inside but air, until he lined up with other men, stiff jackets in a row, necks gripped tight with ties, heads down, arms stretched out to reach the wooden keys, their heads all bowed down together. a dance of concentration. Sticks tapping lightly, clink, clank, clink, tapping the music, tink, tank, tink, making the hearts of the whole village, tink, clank, clink, dance and sing with happiness. Until they took him, lined up with other men, stiff jackets in a row, necks gripped tight, heads down, arms stretched out to reach the end. The marimba. It sat silent, empty, behind the shed. Roberto's mother asked him to bring it out, dust it off. Please, make it sing. He told her, no heart in the village feels like dancing. Hector. Hector did not talk much, and when he did, it was in his lengua, one I did not understand. Hector had not said anything about me staying with their group, training in Ixchande. When Paco brought it up again, urged me to fight, Miguel hushed him with, Paco, leave him be. Maybe this is not his war. I saw Hector grip his gun, point his back a little straighter. I did not understand the words he spoke next, but his face was stretched red and tight. Miguel listened, then said, Cuidado, amigo. That fire will burn your soul. When you open the door to hate, you will find it swallows you whole, and there is no life left inside. When Miguel was finished, he looked right at me, his face serious for just a flash. I noticed then that his words were in Spanish, and so I could understand. Walking. We were walking then so high that my ears felt tightly stuffed. Every now and then, we heard army blades turning in the sky. Once the sound was loud enough, close enough to duck again. This time I saw Paco grab his gun, point it up, get his finger ready. Miguel pushed down Paco's arm, lowered his gun, said, do not waste your bullets, shooting at the sky. Helicopter clouds. I remember one day in the cornfield, seeing the army fly over our village, up, alongside the mountain, hearing them move like a storm cloud over the trees, raining down bullets onto the leaves. I remember asking Santiago why they would waste their bullets, shoot when they see nothing. He said, a man who throws 1,000 stones into the lake is not trying to hit a fish, just make all the fish afraid enough to swim away. Waiting. Even though they had their guns, their belts of pointed bullets, my companions were not hunters. Hector aimed for a bird in a tree, hoping, craving meat to eat, but his shot only sent the bird away. When Paco tried, his bullet bounced from the tree, caused all of us to duck. I laughed. Paco grinned, offered up his gun so I could be the one bringing us a meal. I shook my head, told him there was a better way to get some meat. Then I showed them how to gather twigs, use some vine, make a trap, showed them which flowers smell sweet enough to be perfect bait. Then I showed them how to wait. Sit beneath the leaves, still as a trunk, silent as roots, waiting, watching, waiting, until something came along. Something. I did not see it creeping up to Hector, smelling with its tongue. Culebra, Paco said, using the end of his rifle to point at the ground in front of Hector's boot. Hector did not make a move. Miguel pulled out his knife, bent his knees, moved his arm. Esperate, I said. Stop. Miguel did not take his eyes off the snake on the ground, but turned his head to me. I took 3 steps, leaned my head in close, saw its tiny stripes. It has no venom. Mira, look, it will not cause us harm. I moved my hand, quick, to its neck, grabbed it behind its head, swung my hand back behind my shoulders, and let it fly away. Miguel laughed. Hector nodded. Paco said, Puchica, that was some throw. In the trap. The rabbit was small, shivering, brown, eyes wide with fear. Hector snapped its neck, slit its hide, put it on a stick, turned it around and around over the fire while we all waited. Paco said it was hard to wait for a bite of juicy meat. I thought so too, until I touched the fur on the ground by Hector, soft, still warm. When I took a bite of flesh, all I could taste was smoke. Campfire. The sun disappeared as Patriquel came into view. We stopped to sleep just down the mountain from the village. With lips that tasted meat, Paco was in a better mood, whistling by the fire, asking Hector to tell a story. Hector shook his head. Paco looked at me. Tio Julian, the father of Ana and Hector, is the storyteller in our village. At night, after fiestas, people go to his sitio, wait to hear his stories. What kind of stories? Asked Miguel. Paco said, all kinds, but mostly he would tell the tales the old ones passed along. Shadows from the flames began to dance on Hector's face. Paco turned to me. Do you have a person in your village who tells the stories? I did not mean to speak, but my mouth opened. Santiago. He is old? Paco asked. I nodded. Do you know any of his tales? I had heard many of his stories, but what my tongue revealed was this. He believes in nahuales, tells stories about boys who see their spirit animal when they become men. See, said Paco. My abuela told me once there were shapeshifters, black magic people who turned into animals at night, slipped all over town in darkness. No, I said. This is different. These are spirits who help us find our purpose, protect us, travel with us, keep us safe. And they are animals? Paco asked. Yes. Like a monkey? I only smiled. Sí, mucha, said Miguel. This is true, you know. I have two. One is a jaguar, smooth and fast, and one is a fox. He winked at Ana. She laughed, wagged her finger, and spoke. Yours is a rooster, fat, proud, loud. I smiled, closed my eyes, and saw Senor Pancho, Flora's rooster, how he strutted around the hens, the boss of the whole pen. I remember the sound of Santiago singing, like the song came from his nose, deep, no instruments making music, just his voice singing words, making my heart hum. I remember the feel of Mama's cheeks, always smooth, slick, as a hill painted with mud, always calm, cool, when I would run to her, my face hot with fear. I remember the taste of balloons, when you blow them up before a festival, gritty, bitter, stuck on your tongue like you just licked 1,000 spoons. I remember the smell of Flora's hair, cold and warm, like a sunny breeze was captured on each strand, like the tiny flowers her grandmother grew behind their house, the ones you chewed to make your stomach calm. I remember the bush in front of the church where I could fit inside cool ground. No sound, branches hiding me from everyone, a way to disappear but still be there. I remember my village, the way the corners met, the places where puddles gathered and houses cast shade, and the paint on the wall of my neighbor that was peeled off in the shape of an owl. There. I searched for a tree to climb to see the village up ahead. At last we were there. I felt some calm until my heart fluttered its wings and I shook away the thought that tomorrow would be here soon. Tomorrow, Abuela would ask where Mama was, how I could leave her behind. Tomorrow, my new friends would know how small I was. Tomorrow, I would need to choose what to do, where to go. Tomorrow, I might be brave enough to be a soldier of the army of the people, brave enough to stop running away. Tomorrow. I started to climb a tree, but saw I was taken by an owl, who did not look my way, just dove into the night, off to find a meal. Woke up in the dark. I woke up in my tree with a snap, fast, like something had pinched me awake. I heard nothing, but in front of me, I saw the owl, perched on the same branch as me, closer than we'd ever been. I knew I could reach out, touch his feathers, but I didn't. I watched him watch me for a while. Then I closed my eyes, smelled his scent, warm, soft, full, from a night of hunting. I wondered where he had been, what he had seen, what he had killed. Who? He called me awake, pulled my eyes open, stared into my face, calling, like he was speaking right to me. It made my heart thump in my chest, and suddenly I was afraid. He looked at me, gave a hoot, dove into the night. I gripped my tree, caught my breath, strained my ears to hear. He was gone, but far away in the sky, I could hear thunder. Not thunder. Helicopters. I knew. They were coming. There. Right then. Wake up, I yelled to the blankets by the trail of smoke. Apúrense! Quick, they are coming. I did not tell my body what to do. It just moved, down the tree, up the ground, through the cold, wet gray, running, climbing, scurry, hurry, up into the village, straight to the place my feet knew to go. Abuela. She was stooped outside her hut, pushing logs into a pile, preparing to build a fire before the sun arrived. They are coming! Now! The army! Quick! My words were in a pant. She raised up her shoulders, dropped her wood, moved her hands up to her face. Carlos? Get everyone to the trees. I gulped 3 more breaths, then ran. I ran all over the village. I ran, knocking on doors. I ran, calling out a warning. I ran from one house to the next. I ran, my arms spread wide like wings. I ran, pushing and pecking them all in front of me. I ran, moving all of Patrical, every last one of them, into the trees. I flew. In the woods. Every person in that tiny village stood huddled in the woods, waiting for me. I came in last, saw them standing in a huddle, unsure. Scatter, I said. Don't bunch up. Climb a tree. A woman lifted her daughter onto a branch, climbed up behind her. A few other people moved, but most stayed in a huddle, arms empty, eyes on me. The people of Patrical. I noticed them. They were small. Grandmothers shrunken in, grandfathers bent on canes, children. I scooped up a boy, placed him on a limb, said, wrap your arms around the trunk as tight as you can. See if you can stand there in that hug without shaking a single leaf. Hurry. The sound of blades slicing the sky. Thud, 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 thud was clear then. Thud, 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 near then. Loud. Thud, 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 thud. Only a dozen or 2 people to tuck into trees. Thud, 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 thud. There was a girl my age. Thud, 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 thud. Helping. Thud, 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 thud. With hair woven into an orange ribbon. When the ground held no more feet, I climbed. Thud, 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 thud. Into a tree of my own and looked up to the sky. Thud, 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 thud. The trees were thick there. I could not see. Thud, 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 thud. Helicopter blades, but thud, 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 thud. I could hear them loud. Thud, 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 thud. Thud, 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 thud. Then, boom. Like something crashed inside my chest. My ears exploded. The trees rang, swayed, but stayed put. Smoke. The sky hissed again and again. Rain of death. Dropped thuds to the earth below. Soon the morning pink was smothered up by gray, thick and strong. Smoke. I saw. I put my eyes on the place where Patrical was. I saw black. I saw gray, smoke choking everything. I saw flames, smoke moving fast, flying up, finding a way to leave. I saw it all. I saw. I did not look away, even though the smoke came to my eyes, stung. I saw. I did not blink. Patrical. Tunnels of smoke, thick and dark, shot from all over the village, like a cornfield with no rows. The smoke all came together in the sky, spread wide, reached me in my tree, covered up the whole mountain, smothered everything. Patrical. Tunnels of smoke, thick and dark, shot from all over the village, like a cornfield with no rows. The smoke all came together in the sky, spread wide, reached me in my tree, covered up the whole mountain, smothered everything. Minutes later, the thuds stopped, the hisses gone, the sound of blades faded. I blinked my eyes, looked around, smoke thick, trees thick. I saw no one. Sounds. A baby cried just then. I heard a mother shuffle, whisper. I closed my eyes, let out a breath, let go of the tree. The people of Patrical. They were safe, all of them, feet back on the ground. They came together from the trees, walked together, and stood there together, looking at me just like before. Every head was there. Mis compañeros. I was standing on the ground when my stomach felt like I was falling from a tree. Mis compañeros, ¿dónde están? Stay here, I said to all of Patrical, then turned. Thick smoke. The smoke was thick. I could not see. I ran. I could not see. Down the side where I thought the campfire was, I could not see. I stopped to listen. Nothing moved except the flames in the trees. Circles. I walked in circles from bush to bush, looking for guns, arms, a red bandana, arms, guns, looking for. From bush to bush, I walked in circles until I tripped, fell, something on the ground. The flauta. I bent to put it in my hands, smooth as bone, unbroken, whole. From this low on the ground, I saw the hole. Inside, behind the tree, fallen years ago, the earth moved aside. A trench. Inside, Hector waved. Anna coughed. Miguel climbed out first. Talking in smoke. You are okay? I asked. He waved away smoke from his face. Si, amigo. You woke us up just in time to find a place to hide. But the bombs. They aimed for the trail of smoke our campfire left. We ran so fast, we left our blankets on the ground. I'm sure the armies thought we were tucked asleep inside. I smiled. He chuckled then, slapped me on the back. You saved us, Carlos, with your screech from the trees. Woke us from our dreams. We ran toward your voice. I looked at Anna, watched her smile, saw Hector wipe his face. And Paco? Miguel's smile stopped. He was climbing up your tree. Paco. 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 ¿Dónde está? We scattered into smoke, running, calling, Paco. 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 Flames. I saw flames from trees, flames from the village, flames through the smoke. I did not see Paco. In the trees, I found the people of Patrical standing together, still in the same spot. No Paco. Miguel came up the other side. No Paco. He looked at them, said, Have you seen a boy in fatigues? Paco? No one moved. Abuela turned to me, spoke in lengua. Tell this man we have done nothing wrong. Ask him please to leave our mountain, leave us with some peace. I blinked, shook my head. No, Abuela, he is not one of them. He did not drop the bombs. He is not a soldier, just a rebel. She said, They are one and the same. Two tongues. No one in Patrical knew the Spanish tongue, so I stood between the people of the mountain and the guerrilla rebels and tried to build a bridge, one word at a time. Help. No person from the village wanted to help the rebels, dressed for war, carrying guns, but when I asked for help to find a friend, a boy, everyone began to search. Searching. The smoke was thinning then. It was clear the village was destroyed, but no one moved to gather things burning up inside. Instead, everyone searched bushes low for Paco. Everyone, except me. I climbed a tree. In, out, 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 in. My breath was fast. Step, pull, 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 step, pull. I climbed a tree. Arms squeezed, tree swayed, eyes closed. I opened my eyes, looked around. I could see. Smoke wove in and out of leaves. I could see searching people, dying fires, falling leaves. A few birds circled, looking down in alarm. The sun was out. The birds would find another place to land. I saw one spread its wings, glide through limbs above. It was wide enough to be the owl. I watched him seem to fly in place, like he was waiting for my eyes to find him there. Then he dove over to the right, quickly, almost out of sight, and landed on a branch higher than me. Under that branch, over my head, stuck to the trunk, I could see Paco almost disappeared. Through the trees, I moved from branch to branch, sweeping silently until I was there, underneath him, close enough to see his hands gripping the tree, knuckles white, skin stretched tight. No answer. Paco! Paco? Where did you learn to climb so high? Or did you maybe fly? Paco? Paco. Paco, look at me. Underneath the limb. Paco, escucha. Listen to me now. It is over. They are gone. No more thunder in the sky. Listen. Paco, listen. Everyone is safe. Everyone got out. Safe. In the trees like you. Paco? He spoke. I ran. I hid. I climbed a tree, frozen, like a child. Down. I looked up at him for a moment, saw his arms gripped tight, his eyes closed. I took a deep breath. See, I said, yes, like a child you climbed high into this tree to find a place safe so you could live to be a man. Yes, like a child you hid, found some leaves thick enough to tuck yourself away. Yes, but, Paco, now you must come down, 1 foot at a time, chin pointed straight ahead, because when you do that, when you leave this tree, when you put your feet back on the ground, you will be a man. Climbing down. Paco looked at me. I told him with my eyes that I understood. He nodded, took a breath, and then climbed down. In Patrical. Soon people saw us walking through the trees, and the news that he was found spread. Here he is. Aquí está. He is here. We all walked together to the village, smoking still. The flames were finishing their meal, looking tired and full. Chickens pecked the ground, not afraid to burn their beaks. The woodpile by Abuela's kitchen had been swallowed whole. There was much to do. In 2 tongues, Abuela asked right away, Carlos, what are you doing here? Why are you with those soldiers? Where is your mother? I dropped my chin, looked at my feet, then raised my eyes back up, gave her words in lengua, then gave the words again to Miguel in Espanol. The army came to Chopin, left nothing behind except a boy, a child, hiding in a tree, not yet old enough, brave enough to bring them to a stop. Abuela touched her fingers to her lips, closed her eyes, whispered prayers up to the skies. Miguel clasped my shoulder, said, Carlos, we are lucky to have found you, lucky to have been helped by such a man. I looked behind him at Paco, who nodded, said, thank you, Carlos. You saved my life. Time to leave. Miguel said, we must leave. Head down the other side. We are close now to the camp. We must warn them of the bombs. Paco said, but the village. They will be safer when we are on our way. Even though Abuela could not understand their words, I saw her gather up some corn and squash from a pile behind her shed. She pushed it at them, then told them with her eyes it was time for them to leave. I looked around and saw all eyes on me. What I saw before me. A man with a red bandana, grand ideas, the face of one who's strong, a woman proud but kind, her brother ready and prepared, their cousin, a man, choosing his own path. A village, small, quiet, where no one spoke the language of war, a village full of people, full of work to be done. The voices I heard. Mama, stay away from those soldiers, Carlos. Mateo, Carlos always does what he is told. Mateo, it is time to be a man. Miguel, they've left us no other choice, no other path but to stand up and fight. Mateo, a man would fight for his village, keep it safe. Santiago, it is not our war. Miguel, the army has taken away our land, scared away our freedom, silenced the voices of all those we love, forever. But I could still hear voices. They were not doused with fire. A person's voice cannot be buried deep into the earth. It will walk on forever, as long as there are open ears. What I could do. I could show the children how to catch a rabbit, guard a ball, dig up roots. I could take the words in lengua of the old ones, turn them into Spanish when people come. I could chop wood, gather eggs, feed the chickens, and when the time comes, I could show them all how to sleep in trees. Goodbye. I gave Ana a hug, sent Hector a nod, shook Miguel's hand, then reached into my pocket, handed Paco my marbles, looked him in the eye, said keep them safe.
He gripped my hand, nodded his head, said, "Que te vaya bien."
Later that night, after the fires had turned to smoke, supplies had been moved, things had been shifted, I sat in a circle with all of Patrickal, listening to an old man chant some prayers. The incense he burned cleared out all other smells in my nose, filled it with something new. When he finished, we ate together. Some people sang. A few children fell asleep in their mother's arms. When one asked me where I'd been, how I got to Patrickal, I was not sure what to say. After a pause, my mouth began to move on its own. "Do you know about Nahuales?" I asked. The children shook their heads. I saw the old man with the prayers look over to me, nod. "They are animals," I said, "spirits who follow us around, show us what we're meant to do, and keep us safe. One day when you are older, you will see." A small boy at my feet was digging in the dirt. "Do you have one?" he asked. "Is it a jaguar?" I turned, looked to the trees, now shadows in the dark. "It is a secret," I said, "something we keep inside." He gathered up his marbles, grabbed onto my hand. I found myself leaning down, putting my face to his ear. "But I can tell you this," I whispered near. "I am safe." Chopin, Guatemala, 2014. Names in stone. "Papi, where is my abuela's name?" she asked, one finger pointing down the list carved into stone. "You will find her," I say, watching her scan down the list of names. "We will find her today, finally." I move my eyes down the list. Each time I see a name, I see a face, hear a voice. 154 names on this list, but my eyes are drawn like magnets to some right away. Santiago Luke, Mateo Andreas Chocol Uc, Roberto Manuel Quique Martin. The name of my tia Rosa has a dash to the side with an added infant child. And I wonder once again what name my cousin had. Today is the day. After days and years spent arguing in courts, today we watch men peel away the soil, dig into the earth, carry up the secrets that were buried years ago. Today, Chopin gets its turn to speak. It has been a town of ghosts for far too many years. Today, those of us who lived here return. I was not the only one, not the only person to survive. Some were away that day, working at the coast, or selling squash at the market in San Fernando. Others ran. Like me, they ran, fled to the trees, hid in bushes, found a way to stay alive. Today, our roots pull us back so we can make things right for those we loved. "Aquí," she says. "I see it. Maria Catalina Ramon Co." "See, mija. A lovely name it is." "That's why you gave it to me to share?" I nod, even though her face has turned back to the stone. Her lips continue sounding out the names. Just then, I feel a hand upon my shoulder, turn around to see a woman smiling up at me. "Carlos?" She puts her hand upon her cheek, sweeps her eyes over my face, and laughs out loud. "You are younger in my head. Just a boy." She laughs a quiet laugh and gives a sigh. "I am sure you do not remember who I am." I bend my face down close to hers, take a breath full of surprise. "Flora?" I say, squeezing my daughter's hand. The woman laughs again. I smile. I remember.